There, Facebook. Come in, Facebook. Hello. Really nice to be back with you all. So I'm here in my bedroom, sat at my dressing table, and it's been an interesting week. You know that whole, is it a Chinese curse? May you live in interesting times. Yeah, certainly living in interesting times right now. But focusing on the positive, because that's the important thing. Who watched Lil with me on Wednesday in my studios? My lovely eldest daughter, Lily, who, as you know, has been battling such a chronic pain condition for so long. And it was just lovely to actually be able to sit with her and Basil, the wonderful botanical Baz. So, anyway, it's just me today, and I'm talking mainly about hair loss and hair issues and hair health. Lots and lots of questions and comments that have come in on my Instagram already, so thank you very much for that. First thing this morning, I posted something that I filmed in London yesterday with Michael about skipping. So we were together, obviously socially distant, doing our own thing, and he was making me skip really, really hard. I thought it was hard. I don't know if you've seen the film clip, but I had to lift my legs really high. So normally I'm just kind of jumping. And I hate that thing, that 2 footy thing. I can't do it. My brain doesn't compute. Anyway, I was tripping over the rope all over the place. I didn't film that bit. But he then said, okay, so talk to me while you're doing it. He said, you're overthinking it. Your brain is just, because there's so much going on. My brain was just processing and trying to focus. So he made me chat about all sorts of random stuff, and actually it worked, and that's what I could do. So any of you who've got your skipping ropes and who are trying it, I found it quite hard. I don't mind the jumpy up and down stuff, but when you start having to lift one foot and then the other and then do the hopping bit, that's when my brain kind of gets a bit tangled. So try, I don't know, singing a song or... Hi Amy, I see you on Facebook. You've just popped a little link there about the benefits of skipping, because yes, I have written about it on Liz Earle Wellbeing. There's also a link to my favourite skipping rope, which is one that counts the number of skips you do, so it's quite good. Yeah, lots of stuff. Obviously, Amy on Facebook, thank you for putting all the links to everything. So they will stay on Facebook. So very easy for us to do that. Instagram peeps, if you are new, and I know there are new people joining me every day, just go to my bio, so my main Instagram profile where the little round circle is and a few lines about me. At the bottom of that there's a blue link tree link, and you click on that and a whole world of goodness opens up, because it's all about our podcasts and all the things that I talk about and special offers and links to features. All of that is there. And of course, if all else fails, please go to the website, lizarwellbeing.com. A couple of things. If you haven't already done it, please make sure that you're signed up to the newsletter. That will go out today. I've just seen it. It's a really good one. Amy and I have been working behind the scenes on that, especially Amy, and lots of good things in there, so you won't want to miss it. So that will be sent out. Go into it. We press the go button at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you want to get it and you're not already subscribed, it's completely free. Then just go to lizarwellbeing.com and make sure you're signed up, because if you're not signed up by about 5 to 4, then it won't come to you. And if you haven't got it, do check your spam or your junk folder. Heaven forbid that my stuff should end up in junk. But anyway, but it's a lovely one today. So thank you very much for Amy. So now today, lots of questions on hair loss, and in particular relating to hormones. And I actually wrote a little e-guide to hair loss a few years ago now, and it's still available. I've updated it not that long ago, packed with lots and lots of information, much more than I'm going to be able to get through here. So if hair loss, thinning hair is an issue for you, I do seriously recommend that after this that you go and take a look at that. You can download it. I think it's £1.99. There's a link on lizarwellbeing.com. I know, Amy, you will kindly do a link, and I'll also make sure the link is on Linktree. But it really is good. It's got lots of herbal strategies, lots of botanical remedies, things that are more evidence-based, obviously, because that's kind of my bag, but also talking about some of the drug treatments, some of the shampoos like minoxidil. You may have heard of Regain. Lots of questions saying, how can I get my hair to regrow? Well, minoxidil was quite an interesting treatment. I think it started as... It was either a treatment for diabetes or high blood pressure, something like that. And when people were prescribed it, they were asked about side effects. And one of the side effects that they noticed when they were using this is that their hair started to grow. So that was then obviously investigated. And since then, minoxidil does have the capacity, it's actually allowed legally to say that it can cause hair to regrow. Now, it doesn't work for everybody, bit of a caution there, but for many people it's very good. And I put a link to a product that's specially formulated for women, and it takes at least 3 months though, and it's not cheap. I think it's about £25 a month, something like that, and you apply it topically to your hair. And you will need to give it, 3 to 6 months really. But there have been some amazing reviews, and it is one of the few things that does actually work. I mean, I know a lot of trichologists will talk about this, that and the other, but, trichology, it's not an exact science. I'm not a massive fan, I think. I prefer things that are more evidence-based. A lot of trichology products out there, a lot of people selling stuff. I'm not sure, but there are some things that do certainly help. For me, one of the things that really helped, I used to get a dry, flaky scalp all the time. And the thing that really helped me was switching to a sulfate-free shampoo. You've probably seen this. I mean, I remember working on a shampoo when I was still connected to the Liz Earle beauty company. We made a shampoo, and honestly, it was the hardest thing that we ever did. We made over 100 different versions. It was really, really hard because we wanted something that was very gentle, that didn't strip colour, that was sulfate free and yet was still foaming. Technology's actually moved on a lot since then. I mean, I'm going back, a long, long time. And there are some very, very good sulfate free shampoos. But seriously, that was the one major difference for me, was having a sulfate-free shampoo. But you need to be careful, because a lot of the sulfate-free shampoos, or the more kind of naturally based, they say, oh, it's completely natural. Of course, nothing is completely natural. And even natural things have chemicals. So, I can't bear those words, chemical-free. Because it's like, really? What kind? I mean, even carrots have chemicals. Water is full of chemicals. What you're talking about is synthetic chemicals, or man-made chemicals, potentially. But even then, it doesn't make it better. The most toxic chemicals in the world are natural, arsenic and cyanide and snake venom and all of that. So, there's a lot of greenwash, there's a lot of weasel wording. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because you know me and labels and wording. But just to say, be careful. If you want something that is more naturally based, it can, in some cases, strip out hair colour. So, you need to have something that's been shown to be developed for colour processed hair, if indeed you have colour in your hair, which, as we all know, I do, because I've been using that Weller peroxide kit. And Lily's so good with her colour. You can see, she's got lovely pink hair. By the way, I still haven't decided whether to go pink. What do you reckon? Still thinking about it. Lil's very keen. So I was thinking maybe at the weekend, I don't know if you saw her on Wednesday, but she was saying, I could just take these sort of blondie, bleachy bits. She said, don't go pink on the bits that aren't dyed, because that's just going to go kind of muddy, browny, purpley colour, and that's not going to be a good look. But if I want to get some little fresh notes of pink, anyway, I'm still thinking about it. I will do a poll. Sorry, Instagram, I haven't yet, but I will. Had a few other things going on. But I will do a poll about it, and let's just see. I just think it could be fun, Do we need a bit of fun, a bit of lightness, not just trying to look too, perfect all the time. I don't know. Not that we are, of course, but, you know what I mean. Anyhow, moving on from colour. So one of the shampoos that I have started to use recently that I absolutely love, genuinely love, not an ad, not being paid to say this at all, always say if I'm being paid, I'm not being paid at all to say this, then is this one here, which I brought to show you. It's by a French hairdresser called Christophe Robin, or Robin, which I rather love, like Christopher Robin. I don't know whether he gets it, being called Christopher Robin, being French, but anyway, he is an amazing superstar hairdresser, and he brought out a line not that long ago. And this is gorgeous. It's quite an expensive shampoo. I've put a link in. There's a little feature, I think, on Linktree and on Instagram called Menopause and Hair Loss, I think. And those are the kinds of products that I'm recommending. I think I talk about the minoxidil, the Regain shampoo, and also this one, and also Colour Wow and various other things, which I'll talk about in just a sec. But this, I really wish you could smell it. I think one of the reasons I love it so much is the smell, because it's rose, which I'm loving, especially right now. So it smells, I brought in a visual reminder for you. Okay, this is what it smells like. Because it's Floral Friday. I haven't got Simon this week, so I'm talking about hair. But there you go, Simon. That's a tribute to you, lovely Simon Lysett. Look, can you have a good old sniff of that? From my garden, freshly picked. Oh, just heaven. And honestly, if I smell this and then smell, I'll put the lid back on now, and then smell the Christophe Robin or Robin, yeah, very, very similar. Love it. But more than the smell, obviously, smells are important, aren't they? But this is designed for colour treated hair to give volume and to be colour safe and just protective, and it's sulfate free. Now, interestingly, you only need a tiny bit, so don't use too much. I tend to overuse my shampoos. I think, oh, I love this so much, I'm going to get all these lovely creamy bubbles, let's pour a whole lot on. No, tiny bit, like the size of, well, probably a 20p, I would say, for those of us who are watching in the UK, 20 pence piece, so that's like kind of a dime in America, that kind of size. And if you want to get more bubbles and lather with a more naturally based sulfate-free shampoo, don't add more shampoo, add more water. Sulfate-free shampoos tend to take a lot of water to activate. So what I do is I wet my hair really well, put a little bit in my palms of my hands and really spread it through my fingers and all of that and get it all the way in, particularly at the roots, because that's where you want to clean. You don't really want to clean the rest of your hair. I mean, I've put mine up today, but you don't really want to clean the end bits. You just want to really get your scalp clean. So massage it in. Then if you're in the shower or if you're using a shower attachment, in the bath, just soak it with water to really help activate it and then give it a good old rub. Add more water if you need to get more bubbles, and then rinse and then leave it. I never do 2 shampoos. I think 2 shampoos is a marketing ploy to make us use twice as much shampoo and have to spend twice as much money. So I only ever use 1 shampoo. And then I'm being asked questions about what I use for a conditioner. To be honest, any kind of conditioner. I use silicone free because silicone can build up over time and just dull the hair. So anything that says silicone free. But I wanted to show you actually a hair mask that I do, and I do this sort of once a week or so. And I use argan oil. And argan oil is just this lovely vitamin E rich oil. It comes from Morocco. And I've been there. I've been up the trees in Morocco with the goats where they're producing argan oil. It doesn't really smell of too much. But it was really, I think, first discovered because the Berber women of Morocco who live, they're just sort of slightly north of the equator, but they're living, in a really intense heat environment. A lot of sunshine, and their skin and their hair is always so silky and glossy. And they attribute that to using argan oil. So I've got a very simple recipe online to make an argan oil hair mask. So I'm using Neal's Yard argan oil. You can buy it from them. Again, I've popped a link in. They're one of the, I think they were the first cosmetic company to be certified with this Fair and Fine, I think it's called, argan oil. Anyway, it's really, really good quality. A little goes a long way. You can use it on your nails and cuticles. You can use it in body oils, all sorts of things. So lots of uses. But I reuse little bottles. So you can buy, obviously, kind of aromatherapy type bottles online with droppers and things like that if you really get into your oil mixing. Or you can do what I do, and if I ever get a little bottle, like this was one of the shot bottles last year from the Healthy Juice Company, always keep my little bottles because they're so useful for decanting stuff. Or you might want to use, a little mini jam jar, something like that. And into that you will use about this much or so. It's about, well, it depends whether you want to make a whole bottle. That's a 100ml bottle. So if you were going to make 100 mils, you'd use probably about 40 drops of essential oil overall. And the 2 that I particularly like, that I talk about in the hair mask feature, are lavender and rosemary. I think they work really well together. It's, lavender is just that lovely switch off, calming oil that we can all do with right now. And rosemary is a bit more stimulating, and it's antibacterial. So if you do have any issues with scalp infections, dandruff, that kind of thing, a couple of drops of tea tree, also really useful, and just massage that into your scalp. And then you could leave that overnight if you wanted, or you could just then rinse it out or shampoo it. If you're going to use a hair mask, so what I do is I use my oil just on the ends of my hair, because I don't want to get my scalp overloaded. So I'll just use it from sort of mid-lengths and ends downwards on dry hair. So you work it through dry hair, and then you can, if you've got long hair, you can just kind of wind it up and pin it on your head, or if you've got shorter hair, just kind of slick it back. Leave it on for 15, 20 minutes, and then shampoo it out. But don't wet your hair first, because oil is really tricky to get out of your hair. So what you do in that case is you use a bit of your shampoo and you put that onto the hair ends or wherever you've used your oil mask to then really help dislodge the oil from the hair, because oil doesn't dissolve in water, as we know. So you need something, you need that surfactant from the shampoo to dissolve it, and then you can wash your hair as normal. But honestly, doing that once a week is genius. It really, really works. A couple of questions that have come in here. I'm interested in understanding the role or benefits of HRT in preventing hair loss or hair thinning as we age. This has come from Noelle Christine on Instagram. And what are your view on any supplements that can help? Supplements, they are expensive. I think they can help in some cases. So it's really trying to find out what the cause of your hair loss is. So hair loss is very often genetic. We're predisposed to it. So it's coming down to genetics, epigenetics, all of that. And particularly when we're looking at middle-age hair loss or hair thinning, and guess what that is caused by? I'll give you one guess. Of course, estrogen. As we lose our estrogen. Now, it's quite complicated because estrogen has a role with testosterone. So as women, we all have testosterone. In fact, our ovaries make more testosterone than they do estrogen. So, estrogen and testosterone have this kind of interaction. And I've actually written about it on lizearlewellbeing.com. And I'm going to call up the article here because I just wanted to read you a couple of bits because the chemistry bit is a little bit complicated and I wanted to make sure that I got it right. So the article is called Menopause and Hair Loss, if you want to go and look it up later. And it is talking really about androgenetic alopecia, which is the genetic kind caused by androgens, and that obviously they're linked in with testosterone. And you can be predisposed to it genetically, i.e. you're kind of born with that. That's just what's going to happen to you. That's why some people have hair that thins and others don't. It's not fair. That's the way the world works, unfortunately, and it depends who our parents were and what genes they gave us. So the reason why we get more hair loss and hair thinning during menopause is because we get the dip in estrogen, okay? So, and what that does is it allows testosterone to take over because we've got less estrogen to kind of buffer it, if you like. And what testosterone does is if we have a high level of an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase, you can see why I'm having to read this. This enzyme converts testosterone in the body into dihydrotestosterone, DHT for short. And DHT is the bad guy that causes hair follicles to shrink and our hair to fall out. Okay, so that's where testosterone comes in. So it's not necessarily that we need to avoid testosterone at all. What we need to do is make sure that our hormones are in balance and make sure that we're boosting our estrogen. And of course, we know that estrogen as we age is so important because it's protecting our bones, it's protecting bone density, it's being implicated in mental health with Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, protecting us from colon cancer, all those things. So for all those reasons, which I'm going to talk more about tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm joined by menopause doctor. So tomorrow we'll really go down the rabbit hole in terms of HRT and hormones. But just to say, there is a link, for women who say, why is my hair thinning? What's it all about? Why am I suddenly losing it? And it's because the testosterone is becoming more dominant as we lose estrogen. But we do still need testosterone. Testosterone is the thing that it gives us nice toned muscles, it gives us cognitive function, it's helping with our energy levels, it's implicated in sex drive, obviously, and, mental clarity, brain fog, that's all got to do with testosterone. So, we don't want necessarily to shut off our testosterone. I know I saw a comment on Instagram, I think earlier today, somebody saying, should I be blocking my testosterone? I'm sure that Dr. Louise Newson will say this tomorrow if I ask her again. It's not about shutting off the testosterone. It's about building up your estrogen so you get the right balance. Are you with me on this? So anyway, if you want to take a look, that feature on lizearlewellbeing.com is called Menopause and Hair Loss. There's also there a link to my e-guide, which is all about hair loss, because it is a vast subject. There are lots of different causes. There are lots of different things that we can do. And it may be that it's something medical. It may be something genetic. It may be something where you may find that there's a herbal supplement or a biotin or a B vitamin or something that can help you. And I talk about those in much greater detail with all the clinical studies and all the references that I haven't got the opportunity to share here. But if you're interested, it's $1.99. I think it's a really good buy, a good investment. Certainly when you compare it to the price of visiting, trichologists and buying treatments and things. Let's do a bit of research first. Let's get the information that we need and then make the decision. Few practical things that can help. I'm being asked about various products. The couple of things that I'll share with you, which I have found useful. I have to get back into my iPad. Honestly, I have to keep changing the code because my youngest is just always sneaking my iPad, hacking into it and playing Roblox or Minecraft or something, which then loses up all my space. And then, anyway, let's go there about screens and all those joyful battles that we have. I know many of us parenting will be looking forward to those over the weekend especially. So who is this? Wills48A on Instagram has said, do you recommend any volume products for styling? Yes, I did a hair tutorial, which you'll find on YouTube, which is about how I style my hair. Obviously not an example today because I've got my hair pulled back, but I did it, and I've got links to the GHD stylers that I use, the flat, they're basically flat hair straighteners, which I use to give my hair a wave. And then I've also linked to some of the other things that I like. So this is just, it's quite an old-fashioned product, technically. It's a L'Oreal professional product, and it just really works. If you want your hair to stay, if you're going to try and curl it in any way or shape it or blow dry it, it's heat protective and it does give volume and thickness. So I've used it for a long, long time. Technique Art, I think it's called now. Spray Thermo Modelling Spray Volume 4, whatever that means. Anyway, that is something that I do think genuinely works. This is another question here on colour for hair. Okay. Saying, what would I recommend? I'm allergic to chemicals and can't use hair dye. Okay, this is from Calbeer on Facebook. So what I do, and what I've demonstrated in the video, is also about root touch-up. I did a little thing on Instagram, which I think is also on Facebook, and I'm sure we've got a link to it. Amy, my love, you'll find it, won't you, on root touch-up products. I think maybe it's in Liz Loves. That's it, Liz Loves, is the Colour Wow. And I know there's been a lot of chat online about Colour Wow. It's sold out virtually everywhere. I have found a source, so I've popped a link to that. And what I like about this is the colour that I mostly use. I use other colours as well because I like to mix and match them. So this is a sort of a dark blonde, but I usually use a white blonde and a dark brown, depending on how I want to fill in my hair. But just to show you, it comes with a brush that's got kind of lots of bristles at one end and a bit stubby at the other end. And you can probably see in my hairline here, I'm sharing this just because we're friends, by the way. Don't share it on anywhere else, will you? Because this is my grey. So these are my grey bits here that have already started to grow through. And if I want to cover them up, I'll just use a bit of this powder rather than kind of go through the whole dyeing thing. And you can just kind of touch that in. Is that working? I can't really see because I haven't got a mirror. Let me do it over here. Yeah, I think you can see. So this is quite a sort of blondie colour. And there are lots of other touch-up products that I've tried. There's a Richard Ward hair mascara, which I kind of didn't like, if I'm honest. I found my hair got a bit sticky. So whereas the Colour Wow, I just think it's quite a neat way of disguising your colour. Anyway, talking about other brands that I like in terms of sulfate-free shampoos, there's been some chat about that. I like the Beauty Pie. I think the Beauty Pie one's a very good value. I mean, Christoph Robin I love, but it's about £26, so, it's not a cheap shampoo. Beauty Pie is much better value, and they have some really lovely options. Don't forget that you can get a free month on Beauty Pie, because the way they work, the way they keep their prices down, is they sell at factory cost, so cost price, but you pay a monthly membership in order to have access to all those low prices. But if you use Liz Loves in the checkout code, you get your first month's membership free, and then you can cancel it if you don't like it. So you can have a month's free membership, buy all this stuff really cheaply, if you're being sneaky, and then cancel your membership. But no, I didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you that because I love Marcia and I love Beauty Pie, so I wouldn't be telling you to cheat them. But, but hey, they've said that they can, we can have a free month, so that's great to try it. But the chances are you'll probably try it and want to keep it. Actually, another Beauty Pie thing, I've got it actually sat here on my dressing table, which I showed you the other day. This is called Peachy Dreams, and I just love it. If life is not so peachy, but you'd like to look a bit peachier, I think that's a good way to I think how I'm feeling at the moment, is you can use this and you can just use it kind of everywhere. So I use it just to give me a little peachy glow, kind of adapts to lots of different skin tones. I think they've got 3 different colours, but for me, the peachy one is just, there you go, life's just a bit peachier and fresher and healthier, and you don't have to worry about doing too much else. It's also got kind of little blurring particles in it, so your skin tone gets kind of evened out. There we go. Look, I think I'm matching. Am I matching? Yeah, look. Me and my rose. How about that? Are we peachy, rosy coloured? Yeah, let's remember the good things. Take the time to smell the roses and just breathe for a moment. You remember my breathing techniques I did on Wednesday? You have to breathe out for longer than you breathe in. So we were breathing in for 4 and holding it. And then we were breathing out for 6. Just remember that. And then you up it. So then you breathe in for 5, hold it for a second or 2, and then you breathe out for 7 or 8. So Trisha, you always look glowy. Thank you very much. Deborah, what's the name of the shampoo? Okay, so there's a link. Amy has popped a link. And it's also on Liz Earle Wellbeing. There's a website called Menopause and Hair Loss. And it's in that. I think I've also put it in Liz Loves because I do love it. It's Christoph Robin, and it's their rose scented shampoo. You use a tiny bit. It's expensive, but use a little bit. And it lathers really well, and I find that my hair colour doesn't fade, because, the really annoying thing, isn't it, about getting your colour done, I mean, finally, when we get back to hairdressers, but even now, if you're doing it yourself, is you do all of this, you do all this work, and then you're shampooing it, and your colour gets stripped out, so... can I recommend a good skipping rope? Yes, I can't remember the name of it, but it's in the article on skipping on Liz Earle Wellbeing. Do I have any recommendations for Father's Day gifts? Yes, that's Jean on Facebook. Hi, Jean. I thought I'd probably do a few little bits and pieces tomorrow, but just very quickly, a couple of ideas. I was looking through these guys. I'm going to post about them, I think, probably maybe later on today or tomorrow on my Instagram. It's a company called Koi Clothing, K-O-Y. They've given us Liz Loves discount, so it's 20% off, which is handy to have. And what they've got here is they've got lovely beaded belts. They use Maasai women's communities to give them opportunity and work, which they wouldn't otherwise have in Kenya, to do these beautiful beaded belts, which I think would suit any kind of stylish guy. And look, beaded dog collars. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but Botanical Baz, was wearing her little Kenyan beaded dog collar when she was in the studios with me. So they do lovely belts. They also do, these are more belts here. Actually, these are ladies' belts too, so you could treat yourself to one as well. They also do these, which I think are really fun. I'm going to have to learn how to tie this. These are kikoi bow ties. Isn't that great? So kikoi, if you don't know, is the Kenyan fabric, hand-woven fabric. It's traditional. It comes in lots and lots of different striped colours. It's really fun. And they use these fabrics, and they work with good companies. I won't do that, but you can imagine that's the kind of what it would vaguely look like if your dad's into wearing bow ties or want something a bit fun. And again, you can get 20% off those as well if you use Liz Loves, and that's kikoiclothing.com. And I really want to support them because they're a young brand and they put money back. They put 5% of all their revenue, not just profits, back into conservation in Kenya. And they don't have shops. They sell at events. So they in the summer, that's when they go out and they do all the fairs, the craft fairs, the game fairs, whatever it is, all the open air stuff when people are out at festivals and things like that. And of course, that's all cancelled. So they don't have any outlets. So I said that I would give them a shout out. So there you go. Koi clothing, which I think would be good for dads. Also beautiful linen shirts edged in Kikoi fabric. Just, take a look. Really nice. I'm going to love you and leave you because it's gone past the half hour already. Just to say, few last notices. I've told you about the newsletter. If you want free magazines, who doesn't love a free magazine? Go to Readly through our link and you get a month free. Every magazine in the world that you want to read, you can download free for a month. So I'll make sure that link is on the link tree on Instagram, and also, Amy, I know that you'll pop it up on Facebook. Loads of you have been doing that and saying what a great deal it is, and it is absolutely brilliant. Talking about things being absolutely brilliant, this is really just for magazine readers, but I thought I'd share it with you because you're my fam and I can't do stuff in the magazine and not share it with you guys. So this is only running for the next couple of weeks. This is, if you've got your magazine, then you'll have seen this already. And it is the exclusive half price sale on my Neroli necklace, which I actually am wearing today. So Neroli, this is fair trade gold. It's gold vermeil, which is 24 carat yellow or rose gold, plated, heavily plated over sterling silver, which is also fair trade, really unusual. And it comes with a little chain, which is adjustable. You can have 3 different lengths. I quite like to wear mine quite long, especially if I've got something like this. This is my Marks and Sparks top, which I was wearing the other day, which I think we've also got a link to. It's still in stock, by the way, guys. And I do love it. Lots of you have said, do you really love it? And I go, yeah, actually, I do really love it. I wouldn't wear it and wouldn't, show it to you if I didn't genuinely love it, but I do. Especially today. Look, it's all so carefully planned, guys. Look, flowers, colours, smells. I want to share all the good stuff. And so Neroli, many of you will know that, when I've worked with flowers in the past or essences or extracts, I've often used Neroli. Neroli is orange flower. Of course it is. So orange flower is Neroli. So it's a little tiny, almost jasmine-like, teeny, like little white flowers that are so fragrant. And they are a symbol of love and fertility and good times and joy, which is why traditionally at weddings they would strew orange blossom. And I think in Italy and Italian weddings that still happens. That, especially during the summer months, orange blossom is just strewn. And it has a lovely scent. I love it. It's sort of slightly florally, but also slightly softly citrus because you get the orange flower. Anyway, this was one of the first pieces I think I ever created. And it sits flat, so it's slightly flat at the back. And that's a careful design. It hasn't been damaged. It's designed so it sits flat, so it doesn't roll around. And it's botanically actually very accurate. I'm quite proud of this because it's not just a sort of blobby shape. If you see, does actually botanically represent, and it's got the little orange flower leaf at the end of the clasp. And this little bit here has got my hallmark on it. I've got a Liz Earle hallmark, and it says Liz Earle Fair and Fine in little tiny letters. So anyway, so that was in the magazine, but the offer is coming off at the end of the month, so it's half price, so it's £90 instead of £180, so it's quite a massive saving. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Those of you who want to send single copies of the magazine, we have about a dozen left. Okay, so it's just a quick warning there. If you did want to send just this one copy, the current issue, to somebody that you know and love with a handwritten message to say whatever you want to say to your mum, your sister, your friend, whoever, we will very, very happily do that. You have to go to the Liz Earle Wellbeing website. Please don't go to Warner's, our subscription service, because wonderful as they are, they will just go, what are you talking about? We don't know anything about that, because that's just something that we're doing here. And in fact, my team are just sending them out with little handwritten messages of support, but last few, so if you want those. I will be back with you tomorrow talking about HRT and menopause. I'm joined by Dr. Louise Newsom. We'll have an update on all sorts of things. It'd be really interesting, wouldn't it, to hear about how the COVID pandemic, how that research with estrogen is going. I know she was part of that app, the COVID-19 app with Professor Tim Spector. I am also back this afternoon with a mention on that because, yes, I am back with my Friday 5. I've really missed doing my podcast, and it's been quite tricky, to be honest, to fit everything in because I've been doing these every day, which I'm so enjoying. And I've obviously got my magazine work and lots of other stuff going on and having, the kids and the family at home and all of that. So life is full. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying life is full. So something had to give, and my Friday Five podcasts went. But then there was a bit of an outcry about that by all the people who don't necessarily watch these, but they do like their podcasts. So I have just recorded the first Friday Five that I've done for a while, and that will come out later on today. So if you're used to listening to me on a Fridays, perhaps when you're out dog walking or whatever, then the Friday Five will hopefully be back as a podcast. And if you get your newsletter, there'll be a link in there to that as well. Still got my yearbooks. So that's yearbook 1, which I'm sending out from the farm. This is yearbook 2. With all the lovely recipes. You can find all the details on that. Stronger, Slimmer You, that's your download. If you want to do some of the exercises with Michael Gary, let me know if you do. I would be really intrigued to hear how you're getting on with that, because we just know that our fitness is so important, isn't it? We've got to keep it physical, mental, all of that. Anyway, it is time for me to stop wittering on now. It's very, very nice to chat to you. I'm just scrolling down here looking at all those lovely messages and hearts. And yeah, still a bit of a conversation going on about pink hair. What do we think? Pink hair, maybe on my day off on Sunday. What do you think? Anyhow, I shall leave you with that thought. Thank you so much for being with me. It's lovely to share good stuff. I hope that some of the things I've talked about have been helpful, inspirational, informative, whatever. If not, it's just been nice to chat and have your company. So sending you lots of love. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.